On the day of the wedding, my sister returned home temporarily. My mom, dad, brother, and my fiancé all left me behind to pick up my sister at the airport. While my sister was posting group photos on Instagram bragging about how many people loved her, I made countless phone calls only to be hung up on mercilessly. The only fiancé who answered the phone simply said that I should stop and that the wedding could happen again. They made me the most ridiculous clown on my most anticipated wedding day, to be pointed out and ridiculed by the crowd. I calmly took care of everything by myself, and wrote a new number in my diary: 99. This was the 99th time they let me down, and I wouldn't expect them to love me anymore. I filled out the study abroad application and packed my bags. They all thought I had behaved myself, but they didn't know that I was leaving. The door to my room was pushed open unexpectedly, and my brother Leon walked in, snorting when he saw me gawking at my journal. "What age are you? Still so childish, writing in a journal like a grade schooler." In the usual situation, I probably would have tossed words with him. But this time, I didn't raise my head or respond to what he said. Seeing that I didn't have any reaction, Leon scratched his hair a little annoyed and snatched my diary to have a look at it. There was only one number on there: 99. It was the number of times they had let me down over the years. Leon couldn't see what it meant and frowned, casually throwing the book on the floor and instructing me. "Stop writing this mess of yours. You wants to eat the garlic butter shrimp you made. Hurry up and wash your hands down. Consider it an apology for that passivaggressive comment you made about her today." I remained calm, said, "Oh," got up and headed downstairs, and Leon was surprised that I didn't make a scene. After all, when my family had asked me to make shrimp for my sister in the past, I'd never cried, as if I'd been wronged. Why was I suddenly so quiet this time? "Shu Yi, have you changed your temper? It's not like you're holding back something bad and want to put something in the dish, right?" He sized me up, trying to see through the bad ideas I was hiding in my heart. As his eyes landed on my slightly reddened eyes, Leon gave a slight pause and closed that chattering mouth. It was a long time before he spoke once more. "She's been out of the country for a year now. She's been out on her own for so long. This is the first time she's been back. We're in a hurry to see her. You should understand. It's just a wedding. Wouldn't it be better to make one up for you after a while?" I was silent, taking out the shrimp from inside the fridge to clean it. "Yeah. It's just a wedding." In their eyes, nothing would be more important than picking up Luna, even if this is the wedding I've been looking forward to for a long time. Wedding gown is a high-end model that I've been working on for a long time before I asked someone to rent it. The wedding gown was rented by me for a long time, and it took me more than half a year to organize the wedding with the event coordinator. All of this, they all see in the eyes. But in the end, these people closest to me made me a complete joke. The bride's family was all absent. The groom was a no-show from start to finish, and while Luna was bragging about how many people picked her up on Instagram, I was facing jeers and strange looks from my guests, alone with the aftermath. Even the hotel staff looked at me pale and felt sorry for me, instructing me to go home and get some rest. But when my family returned home, the first thing they did was to make me the cook. I smiled to myself and hooked my lips. Originally, thinking that my parents were old, Luna was already abroad and Leon was busy with work, plus I was going to get married. I was going to turn down the study abroad place offered by my tutor. But now, I just felt that the decision to leave was the right one. It was just a shame that the application was handed in and it would be another 2 weeks before I could leave. I pushed Leon out of the way. "Excuse me, I'm in the way." My cold attitude gave Leon the feeling of a punch in the cotton. He was a little helpless and was just about to say something else when the star-studded little princess in the living room approached him. "Brother, I can't peel this chestnuts. Leon was immediately anxious. Don't peel it yourself. How it hurts your hands. You're the one who's going to be the concert pianist. Wait for me to help you. The annoying fly finally left the kitchen. I looked down at my hands. The originally slender fingers were already red and swollen from allergy. As I carried the shrimp and put it on the dining table, I swept a glance at the living room. The atmosphere there could be described as happy. The father, who was always busy with business, was not busy at all, sitting there, patiently listening to his little daughter's stories about her study abroad days. Mom was full of pain, holding Luna in her arms, saying that she had lost a lot of weight, and that she had suffered a lot outside the country, while Leon was sitting on the side, concentrating on helping Luna to peel the chestnuts, and I didn't say anything, but just watched this cozy scene quietly. The living room and the dining room were like two worlds with clear boundaries. One side is lively and the other is lonely. Sister, why are you standing over there and not coming over? Is it because I affected your wedding and you're still angry with me? Luna's aggrieved voice rang out, and only then did the three people in the living room notice me. Dad subconsciously frowned. Who are you pulling a face for? Why don't you hurry over here? Mom's face also showed some impatience. This wedding thing is purely because you set a bad date for yourself. It has nothing to do with you. If you dare to be angry with Luna, don't call me Mom in the future. Luna beamed and pouted at her mom. I am Mom. Don't say that. Sister will be sad. Although she was persuading, she couldn't hide the smugness in her eyes. I know that Luna is not innocent, because I had told her the date of the wedding a week ago. She saw the news and told me I would have a surprise for me. A surprise. Indeed. She's been playing this either-or game since she was a little girl. Every time. I wasn't the one who got to choose between my parents and my brother. Even my fiancé, who I was supposed to spend my life with, didn't choose me either. I should be upset, but maybe I'm just numb, and there's nothing rippling through me now that I've heard those words. I'm not mad. Those 5 words came out and everyone in the room looked at me in surprise. Not angry. How is that possible? I took in their expressions and only felt irony in my heart. See. They also knew that what they did would make people angry. But they still did that and even had to blame me for my emotions. Now that I was acting so calm, Mom, Dad, and Leon always felt that something was wrong. There was a moment of silence before Dad spoke up. It's good that you're not angry. We're all family. Don't worry so much. Yeah, I know. I nodded my head obediently. Seeing that I really didn't seem to take it to heart, they put their hearts down and pulled Luna to get ready for dinner. In addition to the garlic butter shrimp that I made, there were also a lot of seafood prepared by Auntie on the table, all of which were Luna's favorites. Luna, you've lost too much weight. Make up for it, Mom. Dad and Leon's chopsticks never stopped, and soon Luna's bowls were stacked on top of each other. Smiling, she continued to brag to her family about her studies abroad, saying something about how she had gotten a spot in the orchestra and would soon be able to go in and play. Mom, Dad, and Leon listened in with praise. And I just ate my rice in silence. Seeing that I was really quiet, my mom, a bit overwhelmed, finally remembered what I had suffered. A shrimp was placed in my rice bowl. I looked up and my mom's expression was a bit unnatural. Eat. Don't always think that we favor you. It's not also for you to clip. I stared at the shrimp for a long time and put the bowl down. No, I'm full. Mom felt a little annoyed at being downgraded. What's wrong with you, child? She was about to say something more when Luna, who was sitting next to her, suddenly covered her neck and turned pale. Mom, too can't breathe. Mom, Dad, and Leon rushed to her side, panicking when they saw the rash that had risen on her. This is allergy, isn't it? What's with the sudden allergy? Mom's eyes wavered and settled on mine. The next second, she slapped me as hard as she could. I didn't even manage to stand still and fell to the ground, my head buzzing. Shu Yi, what did you put in your cooking? Don't you remember what your sister is allergic to? Leon was also filled with disappointment. I said, why are you so nice? So you really held back your bad intentions to harm you. Shu Yi, how could I have such a wicked sister like you? All right, I'll stop arguing. First send Yu to the hospital. Dad angrily slapped the table before Mom and Leon withdrew their hateful glances at me. The family left in a hurry and I was the only one still sitting on the floor, covering my swollen-up face in a daze. I didn't do this. I wanted to say that I didn't do it. But too many things like this had happened, and I knew full well that they wouldn't believe me if I said it. Forget it. Auntie at home heard the commotion and tried to help me up, and was startled when she saw my hand. MS. Shu Yi, why is your hand swollen like this? I'm fine. I refused her kindness and stood up myself, going upstairs to my room. Picking up the book that was sitting on the table, countless memories came flooding back. When I was 8 years old, my family didn't have much money yet, and my family of 5 was crammed into an old house. Mom and Dad were too busy at work and had to take care of our 3 children, so they were really busy and planned to send one of their children to their grandparents in the countryside. However, my brother was about to enter high school, which was a critical time. And my sister was too young and in poor health, so they couldn't rest assured. I didn't want to see my mom and dad's sad faces, so I volunteered to raise my hand. So I was sent to the countryside. Before I left, my mom even touched my head and praised me for being the most understanding child. But no one told me that the price for understanding was to stay at my grandparents' house for 8 whole years. During these 8 years, except for the new year every year, I couldn't see my mom and dad and my brothers and sisters. Just year after year. I watched the clothes on their bodies become more and more exquisite and beautiful, and I could guess that the family's conditions had gotten much better than before. I waited for my mom and dad to pick me up and take me home, and when I went from being an elementary school student to a high school student, and when my elderly grandparents had passed away, I got on the bus home. The tiny, dilapidated old house I remembered was gone, replaced by a 3-story cottage. The room they left for me was in the far corner of the first floor. Not as full of books and materials and gaming equipment as my brother's room, and not as full of girly decorations as my sister's room. It was just like my position in this family, unappreciated and ignored at all times. I packed all my few bags and stuffed them into my suitcase. The wedding leave that I had originally taken with my mentor's side couldn't be used now. I was thinking of making a phone call and continuing back to the research lab starting tomorrow when my cell phone suddenly rang. The one who called was Ethan. My fiancé. I thought he was going to ask me questions about the follow-up of the wedding, but I didn't expect that. Just after answering the phone, he scolded me face to face. Shu Yi, what did you do to Yu? Why is she in the hospital? The man who had always been calm and self-possessed lost his temper twice in the same day. The first time was when he heard the news of Luna's return, and the second time was now. What's even funnier is that he's obviously my fiancé. She's allergic. You did this to her, didn't you? How could you do this to your sister? Ethan's voice sounded angry. Shu Yi, I always thought you were a very kind person, but it turns out that just because of such a small thing, you put Yu in the hospital. Are you still a human being? I listened to his accusations and didn't even bother to explain anything anymore. Well, I'm not human. I'm the one who's sorry for Luna. I'll apologize when she comes back. Is that okay? If you're done, I'm going to hang up now. I have things to do. Ethan froze. He hadn't expected this reaction from me at all. We'd had many fights over Luna before this. When he was dating me, he talked to Luna until he forgot. When we ate together, he didn't remember my taboos but took the initiative to order Luna her favorite food. I've hysterically questioned him countless times, but all I got in return was a comment. You're overthinking it. That's your sister. I'm just taking care of your sister for you. His coldness made me look like a calculating lunatic. Mom, Dad and Leon are on his side, saying I'm too controlling. So I used to be mean and sniveling during the year that Luna was out of the country. But I was so lacking in love. I forgot that glass can hurt when it falls to pieces. Stubbornly holding the glass shards and not willing to let go. Until now, blood dripping. Shu Yi, you better really think so. If anything else happens to you, we won't have our wedding. Ethan's words contained a strong hint of warning. I heard him seemingly get out of the car and close the door, and the sounds around him started to get loud. I could hear that he was headed to the hospital, presumably in a hurry to visit my wonderful sister. Taking care of his own sweetheart in my name. Ethan was really coaxing me like a fool. I hooked my lips in mockery and hung up, contacting my mentor's side again. By the time Mom, Dad, and Leon finally dragged themselves home, I was already packed and ready to go live at the school. I dragged my suitcase with me and had just stepped out of the house when I heard my mom's lament. If it wasn't for Xiao Gus family's really bad condition, you would be fine with him. Look at him there. How considerate. I stopped in my tracks. I heard my dad speak. Yes, the young man is also handsome. I see that you actually likes him quite a bit. If I had known, I wouldn't have tried to find a way to let Ethan and Shu Yi get to know each other. Don't think too much. Really let you follow Ethan to suffer. I can't let go. It's better and let him be with Shu Yi. He and Shu Yi are more compatible. Our Yu is going to be a concert pianist. Even a brother-in-law can spoil you, Mom said to herself, and when she looked up, she saw me standing on the stairs, and took 2 steps backward in shock. Shu Yi, why are you here? She thought the room was asleep with no lights on. I also wonder how much of these words the second daughter heard. I ignored the twinge of hidden pain in my heart and walked straight past her. Something came up at school. I'm going to go back. Seeing nothing strange about me, Mom and Dad looked at each other and let their hearts drop. Leon looked at the suitcase beside me and frowned. You're going back to school with a suitcase. What? Is it because you're afraid we'll hold you accountable for harming you allergy and want to run away? Mentioning this matter, Mom and Dad, who were still a bit weak just now, straightened their backs again and looked at me condescendingly. Yeah, almost forgot about this. Shu Yi, do you know that your sister was hospitalized because of you? Even if you don't apologize. Now you want to leave. How can there be such a good thing? Looking at their anger, as if they refused to give up. I also had some annoyance in my heart. Took out my cell phone, dialed Luna's phone, and turned on the speakerphone. Luna had already woken up. Luna has already woken up, and is now receiving Ethan's attentive care. When she picked up my phone, she directly said, "Sister, why did you call me? Is it because someone told you that Yin brother is taking care of me here? Are you angry?" Luna's voice rang out in Mom. Dad and Leon were a bit in disbelief that such bitchy words would come out of the mouth of their beloved daughter and sister. I didn't have time to care what they were thinking, and I didn't bother with Ethan either, and said perfunctorily, "Well, Ethan takes care of you pretty well." Now, all the people who heard it were a bit confused. Luna was also surprised and asked, "Sister, are you serious?" "Of course I'm serious," I answered without hesitation. "Although I don't know exactly what your allergy because of, but I apologize to you. I'm sorry." After saying those words, I hung up the phone dryly and then looked at the already dazed Shu family. Now, can I leave? No one stopped me from leaving this time. I also didn't take Leon's "why don't you stop now" line to heart. When I got back to school, I put my cell phone on airplane mode and stayed in the research lab for 13 days. Until the day before my departure, I finished the experiment and came out from the research lab. I just opened my cell phone and saw countless WeChat messages popping up. There were messages from so many people: Shu's family, Ethan's, and some of my friends. I clicked on my friend's message first. She was probably very angry, with 70 to 80 messages sent, all scolding Ethan and Luna. I looked at the pictures she sent, a screenshot of Luna's Instagram, a family photo. Mom and Dad, Leon, Luna, and even Ethan were there. He was standing beside Luna, staring straight at her with love in his eyes, looking like the knight who guarded her. Luna's caption read, "With my favorite family members." This tawdry operation made my friend angry enough, and not only did she spit out a lot of words with me, she also commented a comment under her Instagram. "My sister wasn't even there. Looks like my brother-in-law took good care of you." I replied to her first and calmed her down properly before clicking on the other people's messages again. Without exception, they were all blaming me for why I made my friend young Luna. I apologized back one by one and was just about to lock my screen. Instead, Leon called me. "Shu Yi, what the hell? Why can't we reach you anymore? Do you have any idea how anxious the family has been the past 2 days?" He finished his sentence, but the sound of Luna's silvery laughter suddenly rang out beside him. "Dad, Mom, Brother Yun, come see this carousel. It's so beautiful." It turned out to be at the amusement park. I faintly asked, in a hurry. Leon was immediately embarrassed, and it took him a long time to speak. "I couldn't get in touch with you. If you were there, you could have come along. It's all your friend's fault. Yu's character is already sensitive, and after being talked to like that by your friend, she cried for a long time before we brought her out to take a break. I've apologized." Leon was silent again, like he didn't know what to say. It took a long time to stifle a, "That's for the best. You're really learning your lesson now." In the next second, his cell phone was suddenly taken away by Ethan. The man's low voice rang out with some huffing. "Shu Yi, was it you who told your friend to comment that kind of words? Why is your mind so dirty? I've said it a million times. Luna is your own sister. I'm just spoiling her instead of you as her sister. Isn't that what your whole family does? I know you feel jealous of Luna because everyone likes Luna and not you. But it's not like it's Luna's fault. You should reflect on why you yourself aren't liked." My hand on the phone clenched slightly when I heard his mouthy words. After I got together with Ethan, I told him about some of the things going on at home. At that time, he hugged me and said he would always favor me. Now, he said he wanted me to reflect on it. I don't feel bad about it, though. 10 days ago, at Mom and Dad's, I'd gotten the truth. It was never me that Ethan liked. He was just putting on a show. Once the play was done, he could stay by his sweetheart's side, protect her and spoil her forever. What I thought was destiny was actually just a play they put on together. There were times when I wanted to ask why. But there is no need. If you don't love someone, you don't love them, whether it's family or love. There's no reason. On the other end of the phone, Ethan's panicked apologies came to mind, and I think he also knew that what he had just said was a bit inappropriate. But that's okay. I don't care anymore. I glanced at the airfare message from my fellow student and spoke softly. "Ethan, let's break up. I don't want to be this tool person anymore. I'm leaving." There was dead silence on the other end of the phone when I heard my words. I was about to hang up when Ethan smiled, with the confidence of holding me. "Shu Yi, are you sure? You've been planning your wedding for so long. How could you really want to break up? You know the wedding has been a long time in the planning too." I sighed, Ethan. However, seemed to think that I was still in a tantrum and said somewhat helplessly, "Stop it. I've told you that the wedding will be made up to you. And the lusting trick won't work on me." I didn't have the heart to explain anything else to him and just hung up when I heard that Leon seemed to be arguing with him. After thinking about it, I blackballed all of Shu's family and Ethan again. This one night, I slept soundly and had a dream. In the dream, the little girl who was wearing different clothes from her siblings was writing in her diary. She took a pen and wrote a number 1 in her brand new book, muttering to herself, "If it's full 99, I don't want my mom and dad and brother and sister." After thinking about it, she crossed out that number again and wrote 0.5. Today mom and dad forgot to buy me clothes again, wearing old clothes. I was laughed at by my classmates at school, a little bit sad, but this is already the best clothes I have. Today my sister said I stole something from her and mom and dad beat me up. I didn't. I just wanted to help her clean it up. My sister said she wanted to eat garlic butter shrimp and asked me to do it. Mom and dad forgot about my seafood allergy. My hands are swollen. It hurts. My sister had a birthday. The cake was so pretty. I want to have a birthday too. But mom and dad seem to have forgotten that my birthday is 2 days before my sister's birthday. I watched in silence as she wrote page after page in her book, sometimes with and sometimes without decimal points. The expression on her face grew numb as she opened countless back doors for her family. At the end of the day, the book was almost finished, and the wedding she was looking forward to was over. The number stopped at 99. I locked eyes with her in her wedding gown. "I should have left earlier," she said. I nodded. But it's not too late. The moment I got on the plane, those heavy pages and pages of aggravation that I had written down have left that ground ever since. I was practically wasted on my studies. Being alone in a foreign country does give you a sense of loneliness, but I didn't go looking for anyone to talk to like Luna did. I just took this big chunk of time and used it to fill myself up. Like a sponge, I absorbed the knowledge that I had not been exposed to. At the end of the day, the entire research lab was begging me not to roll, and only then did I take a vacation and return to the dormitory to lie down. When chatting with my domestic friend, she suddenly mentioned Shu's family and Ethan. Her tone was gloating. "Shu Yi. You don't know, after you left, Ethan and Shu's family are going crazy." "Going crazy," I casually replied. "It can't be. They don't care about me that much." My friend quickly replied, "Who knows? Anyway, I heard that they've been trying to find your contact information." I nodded, finally figuring out the reason why I've been getting strange calls lately. However, I didn't have the habit of answering strange numbers, and never pretended not to see them. So those numbers are all from Shu's family and Ethan. I was just thinking about it when an unfamiliar number called. After hesitating for a while, I still clicked answer. The caller surprised me. It was my mom. Seeing the call connected, she seemed as if she was very excited. You finally answered the phone. Where have you been? Why have you blacked us out? We thought something happened to you." After a pause, she spoke again somewhat stiffly. "It's our fault for ignoring your jowls before. Come home. We'll give you a birthday." Her behavior was really perverse. I immediately remembered the book I had thrown in the trash before I left, and guessed that they had probably picked up my diary and read it. 99 numbers. More than 99 grievances. That's why they felt so guilty and wanted to find me to make amends. But what's the use? Doing something to hurt me and then coming back to seek forgiveness isn't proof of how much they care about me. It's just them trying to get a peace of mind. I spoke coldly. "No, I don't like birthdays." My mom choked on my comment, not knowing what to say for half a second. When she finally spoke, she still said that I should come home early. I looked at my little dorm room. It wasn't big, but everything in it was my favorite things that I had purchased one by one on my own. This was the place that made me feel like I belonged. No, I'm already at home. I said this back and hung up. I thought I had made my refusal clear that day, but one day when I came out of the research lab after an experiment, I saw several people I didn't want to see standing underneath my apartment. Dad, Mom, brother, and even Ethan. Several people were a little excited to see me. Shu Yi, you're finally back. Leon was just about to step forward when Ethan squeezed right through him and stood in front of me. Long time no see. He looked a bit haggard and his eyes were red. I don't know how long he hadn't rested. If it was the old me, I would probably be a little heartbroken. But now, I only feel annoyed. We broke up. What are you doing here? Ethan's eyes got even redder. I didn't agree to break up. We were just having a disagreement. You don't need to agree to break up, I said calmly, looking again at Shu's family, who were standing a little bemused. I heard what you guys said the other day, Mom, Dad. And my brother's faces instantly turned pale, and Ethan's eyes widened at the thought. I continued with what I guessed to be the truth. The person Ethan likes is Luna. And you guys thought that his family was average and not good enough for your baby girl. So you found a way to introduce him to me. So, there's another potential in the family who can spoil Luna, isn't there? No, that's not true. Mom tried to retort, but was unable to defend herself. Dad and Leon also bowed their heads, filled with shame. As for Ethan, he eagerly dissected his heart to me. It's true that I liked you in the beginning, but that was only in the beginning. We're getting married. How could I not have feelings for you? I nodded my head to show that I knew. At Ethan's gradually brightening eyes, I added without mercy. But you weren't there for our wedding, so we won't be getting married again. No, we won't. We can still have a new wedding. Wedding gown I've already booked. It's still your favorite designer. I've also contacted the wedding gown side. As long as you promise me, we can make up the wedding right away. It's guaranteed to be even better than the last one. Ethan put his hands on my shoulders with a pleading tone. Really? Listen to me explain. I'm just used to taking care of you. The person I love is really you. I didn't think you would leave. I was the asshole who hurt you. I'm sorry. I gently shook off his hand. Looking at his reddened eyes, it's not that my heart wasn't touched. After all, it was Ethan who was by my side when I was most lacking in love and most in need of affirmation from others. But because of that, I couldn't forgive him. To forgive him would be to apologize to the version of myself that was looking forward to the wedding with all my heart. You love me. No. That's not what love looks like. Love is the constant feeling of indebtedness, not the way you take it for granted that you owe me over and over again on the basis of the fact that I have loved you. Love is two people understanding each other and rubbing off on each other, not one person giving unilaterally. Ethan, we can't go back. You know best what I want. What I want is favoritism. A firm choice. But he didn't give me any of these. Ethan was struck by lightning, took several steps backward, and covered his face in dismay. By the looks of it, he was probably crying. I didn't go up to comfort him. It was just an ex-boyfriend, not worth my trouble. Just make it clear, anyway. Don't block my downstairs. It affects my mood. I just wanted to leave, and was called by Shu's family on the side. I then remembered that there were 3 other people here. Somewhat annoyed, I rubbed my temples. I looked at the 3 people in front of me and opened my mouth to inquire. He came to me to beg to get back together. And what do you guys want to do by coming to me? Dad sighed. Shu Yi, we read your diary and realize that you have suffered so much over the years. With a heavy tone, As if there was a huge misunderstanding. He brought up their hardships over the years, talking about how Luna almost got sick and died when she was a child. Plus the fact that their daughter, wasn't in the house. So they made up for almost all of their love on Luna, their youngest daughter. Also said that when I was picked up, too many years had passed and they didn't know how to relate to me and had forgotten how to love me. It also said that Luna was spoiled by them and that's why they marketed tactics against me, all without their knowledge. I listened quietly and didn't take a stand. Mom was filled with guilt. The reason for your sister's allergy. We also found it. She ate the peanuts in the gazpacho and that's why she allergy. It's not because of you. I'm sorry, Shu Yi. It's Mom who misunderstood you and slapped you. Does it hurt? These are the words that I especially wanted to hear when I was a teenager. Every time I was misunderstood, I would always imagine that my mom and dad would one day discover the truth and tell me that it wasn't my fault. But by now, it was too late. I was long gone from that little girl who still had expectations of them. Seeing my lack of response, the expressions on Shu's family's faces looked as if they were even more upset. Mom and Dad wanted to say something else, but I had run out of patience. All right, are the words finished? You guys can leave now. I have things to do this afternoon. Don't waste my time. How is this a waste of time? We're apologizing to you. Leon was a bit emotional. He couldn't figure out why Shu Yi would be so cold to them. Wasn't this all just a misunderstanding? Shu Yi used to love them so much. Why did she turn out like this? Does an apology have to be accepted? I asked rhetorically, and Leon was dumbfounded. It was downstairs from the dormitory and there were many students coming and going, although most of them didn't understand Chinese and didn't know what we were talking about. It didn't stop them from coming here to watch the fun. I always do not like to be treated as a hilarious look. At this moment, also really some angry. Hidden in the bottom of the heart of the idea of a brain out. You guys claim that you are making up for your love for me to Luna, but on what grounds? I'm the one who's being shortchanged, and she's the one who's earning a bargain. Before at home, you guys always resented me for making a scene, for competing with Luna, for having a bad personality. But have you ever thought that if I didn't make a scene, no one would care about me at all? At your house, I might as well be fast at Grandpa's house. Now that I'm gone and far away from you guys, everyone will be fine, can't I? Mom was already in tears at my words. But you're our daughter. How can a bloodline kinship be broken just like that? I'd rather am not your daughter. After saying these words, I turned around and went upstairs, not looking at the Shu family members who were crying into a ball. Probably because the power of these words was too great. For a while afterward, they didn't come to me to annoy me. Only occasionally there were always some vegetables and fruits outside my apartment door. I guessed it should be Shu's family or Ethan had approached my classmates and asked them to put them out for me. But I didn't take it once and turned around and gave it to someone else in my apartment building. The year I was about to graduate, a big melon came out of the study abroad circle. When I received a PPT from a friend, I realized that the main character was my sister Luna, whom I hadn't contacted for a long time, and it turned out that after she went abroad to study abroad, she quickly left the piano behind, and her boasts about the orchestra and her teacher's appreciation were all false. She didn't learn anything useful, but learned the openness of foreign countries, and her private life was so messy that she got an unclean disease. Not only that, she got into something she shouldn't have gotten into at a party, and lied to Shu's family that she was sick in order to get them to call her. She ends up being bumped into by Mom and Dad and Leon, who are worried about her visiting her in person. Luna, probably high, confronts them with a straight face. Aren't I your favorite? Why are you giving money to that bitch Shu Yi again? If it wasn't for you guys not giving me the money, I wouldn't have told this lie. In the middle of the argument, She deliriously picked up a knife and stabbed her own brother Leon. Although Leon's life was saved, he was left with after effects, and his body could not get better in this life. Her mom and dad are so upset that they cut off Luna's living expenses, and with no money, Luna goes off the deep end, infects several people, and returns to China to find someone to take over her business. Coincidentally, the one she picked was Ethan, who said he loved me, but he didn't turn down the white moonlight that came to his doorstep. As a result, the moonlight becomes a poison moonlight, and he himself is infected. Ethan can't accept that he is so wasted, and he is so angry that he cuts Luna. She stabbed him, he cut her, one dead, one injured, one in jail. I look at these familiar names, only feel a little sigh. Other emotions is no longer there. After graduation, I returned to China and became the backbone of a pharmaceutical company. Mom and Dad and Leon inquired about the news, but also wanted to come to find me. Only, they were stopped by the security guard without even meeting me. For the rest of their lives, they could only live in regret. Regret that they didn't love the little girl who was brought back. Regret that they had lost that daughter, sister, who was full of them.